Interest for speaking 40. The first. How do we do today? Gappy, Jack, Bacon, Kang. That's it. We'll switch his name. It ain't Colonel Coco no more. It's going to be Kang the Kangaroo. Dun, 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 dun. How's Gappy today?
Hey, hello.
Hello. How's Mr. Back Bacon today?
Just have dinner.
It's like those days that you really don't have anything to talk about.
Don't have anything to talk about. Who doesn't have anything to talk about?
I mean,
you have nothing to talk about. Hey, Bacon. Go ahead. Thought you had nothing to talk about.
Like an event for like Robux. So like I won because it was just Simon Says.
Oh yeah.
It was pretty easy and I won a prize. So that's it. That's my whole week.
Aha. That sounds like fun.
Oh,
Work on that new YouTube channel.
we'll have one.
You gotta get one. You gotta get one. It's good experience. What's going on here? How did Bacon do on his English competition? Didn't get any feedback on that. Did you win any prizes?
What?
How did you do on your English?
Math.
Well, you and Gappy were in that
No.
English competition thing.
I was in the math.
Oh, you weren't in the English. You were just in math.
Yeah,
I
Okay.
was happy.
So how did you do in the math?
I almost got the second prize. Just
Almost.
half a point.
And you gotta hurt me.
Next time you got to make the envelopes a little bigger. Ay. Jack, how you doing?
Doing okay.
Yeah, you sure?
Yes.
Did you move out of the house? Did you get a new cave to live in or what?
A new cave.
Oh, there you are. There you are. Matt's got a new house. I looked at him in his test because they did their test just before you guys, and I'm just finishing up the last one there now. So I'll be doing yours this week, you guys this week. But I looked at him. I thought, maybe you get a haircut. He looks different. Then I realized, no, it's not him. It's the background. He's in a new room.
No.
Yeah, and he said they built a new house about 15 minutes away from the old house. You know Matt, right?
That's my grandparents' house. I lived there because my parents were in quarantine. So
You lived where?
Now-
At your grandparents.
yeah, so I had to.
You're at your grandparents now, or you had to stay at your grandparents for a while?
No, that's before. Now it's back to normal.
Now it's back to normal because your parents were in quarantine.
Recording in
That's stupid.
Yeah, a lot of people are having that.
Hey,
Now.
I'm here.
He is back. Colonel Coconuts joined in the house.
Okay.
Kong. Is that any relation to Donkey Kong?
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. You know Donkey Kong?
Fish.
Yes.
Of course I know.
It's a tiny fish in Vietnamese.
Donkey Kong is a tiny fish in Vietnamese.
No.
Classic
Con
game.
Caton.
Okay.
It's just fish, little fish. That's type of that little fish.
Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong. Yeah, you can call him Donkey Kong now.
Oh my God.
That's
Donkey
game
Kong
stuff.
was one of the biggest selling video games in history at one point.
Racism.
In that game, player would control Mario, right?
This was before Mario Brothers, but there was some kind of an amalgamation or some kind of connection after. I'm not sure why. Maybe no. The makers of Donkey Kong, I think at the time the company was called GameStar.
Yep.
I think that's a
Console
while back.
player.
Yeah, GameStar. I'm sure it was. Yeah, I don't know why I remember that, but I remember when the video game really exploded and people actually could buy games at home. Right around that time, it was still common to buy a console or a machine that just played one game. right? And you'd have these, you know how they had the big arcade machines
Yeah.
where you'd go and you'd put the quarters in and you'd play with the joystick and the buttons, and you play on a big screen. But it was only one game, right? One box for one game. There was none of these putting in discs or changing games at that time. But I remember they started selling these mini little game joysticks, little arcade boxes. And I remember my parents bought me one, and it was Donkey Kong, and we'd sit there and play Donkey Kong forever. They keep putting the batteries in it, and the world of video games. Sure, I wish I invested in video games a long time ago. I would be
Like
very rich.
at that time, why the Americans and Canadians just having fun, like the 80s, the 70s, playing videos game.
Most
and,
of the 80s, yeah.
Yeah, and our parents at that time are still being young in this poor country of Vietnam and still robbing things, or else they will starve to death.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, that's a little bit overextended, but yeah, that's pretty damn close.
things have changed a lot. It seems to be better off living in Vietnam than Canada or America these days.
Yeah, like at my parents' generation, when they are young, like robbing is a normal thing.
Like what robbing?
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, I don't think that's like robbing. I think that's burglary or something.
I used to get dressed up when we were teenagers. We were naughty kids, and we would get dressed up like Rambo with all the face paint and the bandanas and the army jacket. And at nighttime or after dinner, when it was dark, we'd go crawling around the backyards of people's houses into their gardens and stealing carrots. And we thought we were like, these Navy SEALs or something.
Are you guys big chungus?
No jungles, just forests.
Oh, are you guys big chungus?
Big chungas. What?
Big chungus.
That is a very big rabbit,
I know.
and they call them big chungus.
Called cartoon rabbit.
Rabbit.
Big rabbit.
And you said that you and your friends are stealing carrots, right?
Yeah. Oh well, I don't know about any chungas or any big rabbits. We had lots of rabbits where I grew up, that's for sure. But the rabbits usually stayed clear from any of us. Pretty hard to catch a rabbit. All right, guys, here we go. Interest 40. CEFR C1.
Is that a grammar? Is this about grammar?
Is it about what?
A grammar?
No. What, you mean the CEFR?
If only.
Oh, that's the rating, right? A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2 to rank your English proficiency. But this is all about speaking and communication. This is not about grammar.
What page today, Mr. Trevor?
1.
What? It doesn't say one.
Is there C2, C3? Is there D?
No, C2 is expert. C2. Well, I mean, okay, there's different numbers on the pages, but I'm pretty sure it's the first page. What page?
Wait,
Unbelievable.
the first
Unbelievable.
page, the workbook.
First page.
First page student book.
Oh, okay. Phew.
Are you gonna suffer?
Unbelievable.
Oh,
After
God.
all these classes, and I give up.
That's racist.
Mhm. All right. Dun, 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 dun. Facebook fears. All right. Now this is an interesting story we're gonna have after the break. What was it? A headmaster from a school in Australia a few years back wrote a letter to all the parents, giving the parents warning about their kids having Facebook accounts and advising them that they should make sure, if they're going to allow the kids to have Facebook accounts, that the parents should make sure that they're friends on that page so they can keep an eye out for any suspicious activity. And he goes on by talking about, of course, it's it's not a violation of rights or anything. You're the one paying for the internet and everything else. So therefore you should have a right to monitor what they're doing at a young age. Because again, it can be hurtful. I think Gappy and I had a little chat about that last week after class, about the dangers of social media now. You know, like a quick note, but I'm sure we'll be talking more about it later when we read about it. You know, like a lot of people right now are getting in trouble for things they wrote on messages 10 years ago, you know, because once you write it, it's gone, you know, it's there, and these companies can retrieve it and they keep track of you, and you're all registered in a database now, and they, by what you like and what you don't like and what sites you visit, the computer already sets up a profile. They're already building a profile, their own profile on every person on the planet. Anybody who touches a computer is in the system now. But it's really important what you say, especially if you get emotional or you get angry and you accuse someone of something or you insult someone. That can come back and hurt you in 10, 20 years from now. So you really got to be careful what you do on the social media now. And it's not regulated in any significant way. So it's really on us to be careful what we say with this changing world. So it's an interesting article that we'll read after the break. But now it's time for some vocab challenge again. This is the one. Whoever wins this one, there ain't no coming back.
What now? Huh? The hell you said?
You will never be able to lose that title again.
No, you Walden on God.
This is
Yeah.
awesome.
So Buck is our present vocab champion for interest 39, which was really close. Gappy, it was right down to the end. Gappy had 3 as well. Okay. So here we go. Colonel, you ready?
Whoa.
What you doing there, Colonel?
But
Hey.
just as usual, I'm not really care about this. I don't even have a book. The book.
Surprise.
No, not
Surprise.
ironically.
Oh well, I'm sure you'll get a few here and there.
Yep.
As always.
I'm sure if you don't care and you don't work at it, I'm sure Bakaruni will take advantage of that.
Yay, thanks for that.
Yeah. Typical Coco move.
I'm certain. Holy macaroni, what happened there? I got the wrong one. Okay, there we go. That's what I want. Okay, we got the right page here. I got my cameras in the right place. We got share sound. We're ready to roll.
Ready.
Yeah, share sound. There we go.
Hope I'm not lagging today.
All right. Keep your camera on, Coco. Our first word today. We're going to have to start the lesson deleting people again? Really? Is that how we're going to start this? Already a delete before the first vocab challenge? Wow. Unbelievable. Boom, 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 boom.
A strong. Oh no, we. Bid.
What?
We hope.
We hope.
No.
We hope you not to behave in this.
No.
Wait.
We are not
Conditional. Wait, no.
Come on, have one. You need to get fatter. Have some. Come on, do it. Just one. Have one. Take
At
one.
least.
Force?
Well, force is by force. That's not force.
Urge.
Urge. Mr. Gappy gets on the board first. We urge you not to behave in this manner. We urge you to eat more so you can get very fat.
No, that's
Get my little-
literally the opposite. That makes
Just say that.
Oh, okay. We don't have a paddle. We just got Jack. We got Gappy. We got Bacon. We got Coco. Okay. So write this down properly here now. A lineup change here in the class. Bacon had 13 points last interest 9. Our interest 39, lesson 9. He tied Jack for the most in the class.
Yep.
All right. Urge was the first one. Looking for an adverb now. I urge you not to smoke. I urge you not to get tattoos. I urge you not to go to war. It could be very detrimental to your health.
Permanent. Permanent.
Or the colonel will wreck.
Yeah.
Permanent. Yes.
Bark, bacon, permanently.
My throat very itchy.
Stop smoking.
Chill.
Yeah, smoking is likely to damage your health permanently. That's something that, it's one of the worst things. I don't know. Oh, yeah, smoking, terrible. Alcohol, terrible. Just nothing good comes from any of it. Millions people, that should be millions of people have been wounded and permanently crippled in this war. Of is missing in here. Tattoos are forever. They are permanent. Now, they do have laser treatment where you could, you can have some removed. But from what I understand, it leaves a really nasty scar on your skin too. So there's still some kind of damage. Actually, I was taking a good look at that. That's not even a tattoo. They're just coloring.
Yeah. Coloring the eyebrow.
Yeah, that's not a tattoo at all. So that's not permanent. I thought it was a tattoo. It looks like it, the gloves and everything. Yeah. In a way that lasts and remains unchanged.
Like my mom's also like regularly have that kind of painting in her eyebrow.
Yeah, a lot of women in Vietnam do that.
Yeah. For like 3 months or 4 months or something like that.
Oh, it wasn't tattoo, it was just a temporary coloring?
Yeah.
Just coloring.
Oh, okay. So you can get them colored now and the color will stay for a long time.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know. You can't even see my eyebrows.
I have natural eyebrow.
I'd look really strange if I had eyebrows.
Yellow eyebrow.
Yeah, well, you can't even barely even see that I have eyebrows. The same
I can still see it.
Same color as my skin.
Maybe you are using the filter.
Using a filter. No.
Everybody using the filter that don't have like they don't even have a nose.
Well, where did it all go? Where did all your eyebrows?
No, they're there. It's just that they're such a light color that they kind of blend in with the skin. You don't see it. That's like before my goatee and beard went white. I could grow a beard for a week. I'd have hair everywhere, but you wouldn't see it. It was like golden color and white, or not white, but like a yellow and a light brown and
light brown.
Unless you look really close, you couldn't even see it. It just looked like. Which is good when I used to work in an office, not office, but had to go to work because I'd only have to shave like twice a week. No one would even know that I didn't shave. Or some guys you work with, they've got to shave in the morning and then they got to shave in the afternoon again because of all the stubble with black hair. Some people are like that. Some people have to shave twice a day. Thank God I'm not like that. Some people have hairy backs too. I'm so glad I have no hair on my back. I'm not a hairy person. I'm not.
Do you have a hair? Do you have a hair in your chest?
Yeah, I do, but not a lot. Like I'm not a hairy person at all. I have a little bit of hair on my chest, and that's it. I'm
hairy
not.
Tummy.
Yeah, but even my stomach is just like a line down to the belly button, and that's it. It's just very small. I'm not hairy at all. Thank God. Thank God. Thank God. Some people, yeah, definite problem. Another word for breaking up.
Divorce.
Divorce. That's when they throw the ring at you.
Yep.
No ring here. Ending of a relationship. It's breakup. It's exactly like a breakup. She's leaving him. But there's another word for that. Synonym, I guess.
Intimation.
No, another word. It's a synonym to split.
Relation.
Split up.
I gave you the word.
Yay.
Split up. Split up is the word. Split up.
Why?
Yeah, it's why. Why not?
Why?
Yeah, they split up. It's just another split up. They split up. They broke up. What's another word for? That's the only two I can think of. They broke up. They split up. Sometimes they pout or puff it there and say like they took a break or something like that, which means the same thing. I don't know anybody who said they took a break and then got back together again.
Ow.
Yeah, split up, broke up. Yeah. All right, let's go to the next one. This one's pretty funny.
Let's go. Something else.
She asked if she perceived any evidence.
Honey, don't you want to stop and use the bathroom? No, I'm fine, thanks. Wrong answer.
Retrieve.
What do you,
Immature.
what do you think she's trying to do? You know, like
Persuade.
oh, not persuade.
Oh no.
Come on. Is it retrievable?
It's like a clue.
Question.
Disclosing?
No, it's like a clue. I asked her if she
Hints.
hints. Yeah,
Oh.
What? It's hint?
hint. Yeah, well, I mean that's kind of. It was actually a Tony Robbins show. Was talking about that, about how women hint to their boyfriends or their husbands what's going on, and he says, you know, it's hard when you're in a relationship because some women tend to think that men are supposed to understand and know what they're thinking without having to say it. So, for example, like this, right? She wants to go to the bathroom and get snacks or something. So instead of saying she wants to do it, she hints and says, honey, don't you want to stop and use the bathroom? So he's supposed to clue in and read her mind and say, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. We should do that. Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds good. Right. But he says, no, thank you. And of course, now she's pissed off because she doesn't want to have to ask.
Just
Right.
like calm.
And then they'll get in an argument later. Why are you upset? Well, I wanted to go to the bathroom. You didn't say that. Well, you're supposed to know that. How am I supposed to read your mind? You know, and then all of a sudden there's an argument. And it's like, how did this argument start? Right. Things like that.
Why did they put the bicycle behind?
Why?
Yeah.
Because probably faster to get to where they want to go on a bicycle. Not in a car. And maybe there's only enough room in the trunk for one bicycle. Or maybe they just bought it. Or maybe he picked her up hitchhiking and she was riding a bicycle. I don't know.
5 for nothing.
You're gonna have to ask. You're gonna have to ask them. I really don't know why there's a bicycle in the back seat. No idea.
For decoration, that's it.
For decoration. Ooh.
Waste
Hint.
of space.
A waste of space. Yeah, I agree. Hope they're not going to pick anybody up. All right. Aha. The way you act.
A bit odd.
It could be odd. Like not acting your
Immature.
immature. Yeah, immature. Not acting your age, or what's the example here or the definition? Not behaving in a way that is as calm and wise as people expect from someone of your age.
That guy's dancing.
Yeah, it's a kind of well, it depends
When
on
you
the
get to
situation.
like-
You know, maybe he's just trying to be silly. Maybe he just won a lot of money. Maybe he just got a new job. Who knows? Maybe there's a logical reason.
You
But,
feel happy because he lost the job.
Or maybe he's happy because he quit a job or lost the job. Exactly. Yeah. And again, who knows what the kid's doing? If he's doing that at the dinner table when they have guests, then that would be quite immature. But if he's doing that to his little brother because he wants them to laugh, well, then he's just playing around and being silly. It depends on the context, for sure. For sure. But the word was immature. For sure. All right. Let's move on to the next one. All right. This one was hard to find. It's the definition is the best. It's not secret. Make secret or new information known. It's very much used
Disclosing.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. To disclose information, to disclose company profits, to disclose personal information. It's usually like more than a secret, right? Like often it's secretive. And that's why they call it a disclosure, right? Because usually like disclose new evidence into the trial. Most companies don't want to disclose how much money they actually make. They want to try to avoid paying taxes or whatever the case may be. Oh, but disclose. Yeah. Make something known that they might have tried to keep it. Maybe tried to keep it private. Do I get that right? Is it a 2-2 tie? Urge, permanently, hint, immature, disclose. No, immature. So this is a 3-2 lead for Bacon now, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Immature, disclose. Right. This is how, now this can be a criminal offense. It depends. I'm not sure what the guidelines are, but yeah, definitely can get sued for it in some situations.
What the heck? False.
Criticizing.
No, it's when you
Slanderous.
What's that? Jack?
Slanderous.
Slander.
Slander is exactly what it is.
Yeah, I heard like from a Cartoon Network. Yeah, from a cartoon.
Yeah, like, you know, I mean, the laws in the West are changing so much right now. It's really hard to, I don't really know what the laws are anymore. I used to know but like I say, things are changing so fast. Slander and defamation is kind of like you would see someone make a news report or someone would go on an interview and say bad things about someone and make up stories that obviously were not true. And in some of those cases, I even think Donald Trump has sued people before for slander and starts with a D. Defamation. That's what it is, of character. Here we go. Defamation of character is a catch-all term for any statement that hurts someone's reputation. Right? It's not about hurting someone's feelings, but if you say something and you would literally hurt his reputation, and that's going to hurt their career or their political life, or, you know, something like that, it's called defamation of character, and it's a criminal charge. Defamation. Okay, so here, while spoken defamation is called slander, defamation is not a crime, but is a tort, a civil wrong rather than criminal. Okay, so there's two. Sometimes someone murders someone, like O.J. Simpson. He went to the murder trial, and they couldn't prove that he did it, so they had to throw the case out. But after that, the families could turn around and sue him in civil court, saying that he's responsible for the deaths, and he had to pay out millions of dollars. So there's civil court, and then there's criminal court, and they're very different. So you can sue someone in a civil court for hurting your reputation. It's something serious, of course. But yeah, okay, so it's slander and defamation. That's the word I was looking for. Okay, got it.
What the hell?
Slanderous. All right, there we go. We got this back. Oh, it froze on me there for a second. Okay. So, yeah, but the laws are changing a lot because now it seems like, you know, people can do this slanderous stuff on social media, but yet it doesn't seem like people are getting sued as much either. Like a lot has changed. I'm not sure what I've been meaning to watch some debates on the law procedures on this, but I don't have time. Okay. Spoken statement, false and malicious. All right, let's go to the next one. Slanderous actions. This is to judge to
a ratio.
Ratio is like a percentage.
Wait.
Gauge.
Gauge is the word we're looking for.
Oh yeah, the machine. Oh frick. Yeah.
Yeah, you can gauge the internet speed. You can gauge the risk factor. You can gauge. Sometimes it's hard to gauge people's reaction or gauge the severity of something or how good or how bad something is or how well someone will do something. All right. So to gauge someone, yeah, it's because sometimes you do something or you say something and it's you don't know what to expect. So it's hard to gauge what their reaction is going to be.
Sad.
Yeah. Gauge. And of course, it can be a pressure gauge to especially on Well, I think propane and all these different things, they gauge the pressure and different things, gauges on a nuclear reactor, all kinds of different gauges. All right. Okay. So gauge was the word we were looking for. All right. This one was very hard again. Some of these words, all I can do is put example sentences up because they're hard to get a picture. But the picture I wanted to put on was, the recycle bin on your computer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So sometimes you delete something, but you didn't mean to. So you want to get it back.
Restore.
That's what it
Retrievable.
says. Retrievable. That's what we're looking for.
Boy.
But you're right. Restore. To retrieve the stick, to retrieve files, to retrieve encrypted files, to retrieve deleted. Yeah, use the mute button. It's good. Retrievable. If you would have said retrieve or anything else, I would have given it to you anyway, but retrieve. Okay.
Okay, so what is the difference between retrieve, and summon?
And what? Retrieve and?
Summoning.
Well, summon is to call someone, right? I summon you to rise before the courtroom. Summon. What's the proper definition for summons in court? Means you've been called that you have to show up for a court date. Authoritatively or urgently call on someone to be present. Right? I summons you to be present, especially as a defendant or a witness in a law case. That's where I usually hear it. You've been summoned to appear in court. Urgent demand. She summoned medical assistance. Yeah, it's kind of like to demand, but
I summon blue eyes black dragon. Oh
White.
no, blue eyes
Yeah.
white dragon.
Your race.
yeah, if well, you see it a lot in these wizard and dragon kind of things, where you make a curse. Wizard tries to bring some evil spirit back, and I summons you to rise and
Yeah.
dark world again. Retrieve just means to get something back. Right? Like the perfect example here was when you delete something on your computer by accident, and then you go to the recycle bin. Gappy's right. The option it says is to restore it back to your computer, but it also means to retrieve something that you have lost, right? That can be found and made available to be used. That can be got back, to retrieve something. Okay. Retrieve. Okay, next one is going to be, okay, so there's a couple of meanings here. Let's see if you figure it out. They're pretty good pictures. A picture.
Capture.
Yeah, capture. That's right, Jack.
Okay.
Captive, capture. This is capture.
Is this a girl or a boy?
I first looked at it, I thought of it too, but she's got long hair and she kind of has a female feature face, I think.
Yeah.
Hard to tell sometimes when they have military uniforms on. But she's really white, because she's young, obviously, and look at the whitish hair.
Yep.
But she's got.
How is that possible?
But she must.
Do anybody have
She must
white
have
hair
think
on
a
birth?
lot.
Is anybody what, Coco?
Do anybody have white hair when they are born? Like
Yeah,
they have that
albinos.
naturally.
Albinos. It's like
Albinos. Have you ever heard of albinos?
Yeah.
They,
Their skin will be white and their eye will be
They have
red.
virtually no pigmentation in their skin. They're as white can be, and every hair on their body is white. Yeah,
But this girl is definitely not an albino, so she should be just dyed her hair.
I think she dyed her hair because look at her eyebrows. Her eyebrows are dark. So,
Or maybe she just dye her eyebrow.
well, that's possible. But on the other hand, too, if you take a whoa, what the heck? Jeez.
Oh,
Ooh.
I saw the word.
Yeah, this is
Ah,
we're having a rough start here in interest 40.
That's sad.
Okay. Why I'm hitting the play? Why is it doing that? Pause. Look, I hit pause and it changes picture. Oh no, this time it works. Son of a gun.
okay.
Now, but if you look at her hair here, you look between, you can see dark. So I think she dyed her hair.
In the middle of the war, of course.
And this is, again, these are videos on story blocks for people to make money off of. So they're acting this out. Like, this is not a real war. These are probably actors that are at a set filming, and then they decided to take some shots on the side just so they could
Guns.
send them to story blocks and make some money, like what they're doing now. Because now that I took that picture, they make a little bit of money off that. Because they have. Do you understand how Storyblock works? And
Yes.
these companies.
And,
Yeah. So how do they make money?
Sorry, what?
Like
Yeah,
a company, like, I don't know what kind of company you call it. There's a lot of them. I can't remember them off the top of my name, but they're the one I use. The license I bought is from a company called Storyblocks, and you can Google it. And there's millions of short B-roll videos like this, like short videos of 13, 15, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, almost any category you want. No. They're not like TikToks. They're high quality pictures. Like, I typed in capture a picture, and I have hundreds of pictures of people taking pictures, photographers, and then other things, capture a prisoner, whatever else I can think of for capture will come up in all these different videos. I can go video or images. So as we build the vocabulary, we try to find pictures that best suit this, and then we download it, and then we post it onto our PowerPoint. And then we make the slideshow like this with videos. But Storyblocks and then they have an audio section, just like Epidemic Sound and all these other companies that you can pay them for a membership, and then you can use their music in your videos. Otherwise, you get a copyright strike because you don't have permission to use those songs, right? You can't just make a YouTube video and put, Dynamite there from K-pop, BBC. What's the name of that Korean band?
BTS.
BTS. Yeah, you can't make a YouTube video and put BTS music in the background. They're going to take your video down, or if they want, they'll leave it there, but they'll collect any money that you ever make off that video because you don't have the rights to use that, right? So what these companies do, exactly the same with Storyblocks, is they set up an internet company where you and I and everybody can make little videos and pictures of everything and anything around the world and send it to them. And if it meets their criteria for 4K video or 1086, is it pixels or stuff, and they like it, they'll say, okay, we will take your video and your pictures and we'll put them on our platform. And anytime someone like me or other creators or whatever want to use those videos, I pay Storyblocks $300 some a year for a license. So this gives me the legal right to use any of the videos and music and everything that they have on Storyblocks, so I can post it on the internet or anywhere as I want, and no one can sue me for copyright laws. So I take these two pictures. Well, that means maybe they get $1, maybe they get 50 cents. I don't know what the payout ratio is for the creators who supply the videos and pictures. But the two creators of these two pictures, at the end of the month, it'll add up how many people use their content, and they will get a check from Storyblocks for providing. They own the rights to it, but they made a contract with Storyblock to allow them to sell it to me. So it's all legal. And therefore, I can make videos and you can't sue me. I have a license for this material.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how it works. And it's really important with music, especially. Okay. Yeah, this is a business because we do slides and vocab every freaking day at work. I want to start setting up our own. We have the studios, we have all the equipment. I really want, when we get a little bigger, I want to start my own kind of story block website where people can come and do the same thing and get all the material to make their videos. Something I want to do in the future. Capture. Yeah. Capture something. All right. So this one is not borders, but they are definitely
Boundaries.
boundaries is exactly what it is.
Boundaries. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw the word.
Oh, yeah. That's right. We saw the word.
Yeah, this are the words.
That's right. Minus 1 point there. So it's
No
5.
point, no minus.
Plus
Yeah.
a point and then minus.
Because I gave you a point. So
Okay.
you're at, okay. So it's 5 bacon, 3 gappy, 1 jack, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. All right. 2-point lead for gappy. This one was boundaries. So there's a
What?
few, right? Boundaries. Yeah. Boundaries are very much the same as borders, of course. Could be prison walls, could be on just normal property too. Like a lot of the houses in Vietnam and Asia, you have gates in the front everywhere, so you can close things off. There are boundaries, school boundaries, playground boundaries, and these are boundaries like on a football field, the outside lines. If the ball goes outside, it's out of bounds, right? So boundaries. Yeah, a real or imaginary line that marks the edge or limit of something. Boundaries.
Widespread. Widespread.
Widespread. Jack.
Widespread. Infinite.
Internet connections. Pandemics. Widespread.
Also widespread. Okay.
Imagine?
What's that?
Nothing.
Mrs. I imagine. I don't know.
Imagine. I'm trying to think of what else could be widespread. Of course, the internet is totally global. The pandemic is global. Which, thank God, it's not too serious. The pandemic. People aren't dying in the streets like some of the past pandemics that have happened. Thank God for that.
Yeah.
I would say this is probably the mildest global pandemic the Earth has ever seen. Again, thank God for that. Yeah, I can't imagine what it would have been like living and walking through the streets during the Black Death or the Spanish flu or those pandemics. Holy mackerel.
Yeah.
The stories.
Through the Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah, that's
Sadly die.
Nobody expected the Spanish Inquisition.
no, but it's some of the numbers. I mean, you don't know if all of them are true or not, but just for those of you who may not know what the Spanish Inquisition is, it's when the Spanish went to South America and started colonizing all the countries down there. Like the English and French were mostly up in the Americas, but the Spanish went down through the Caribbean and into Mexico and South America and all these countries. But yeah, they're horror stories. Some of the stories of what they were doing.
Now it's it's just those colony things of Spanish. It's just a part of the Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah.
It started in the mainland Spanish to inquisite, to convert, force the people in
Force them to
Spanish
become
land,
Catholic. Yeah, the Catholic or Christian? Catholics. Yeah.
Catholics, forcing the Protestants and the Muslim to be Catholics, or they must leave or die.
Well, they would murder and torture people if they wouldn't convert. Yeah, no, it was horrible what was going on down there. And this went on for what, 200-300 years or something crazy like that. It's a long time.
Yeah, it lasts about 300 years or 400 years.
Yeah, it was crazy times. It's a lot worse then than it is today. That's for sure. But what I'm saying about the pandemic, yeah, because when they came, what I read, and again, I don't know if it's all true, but it was something like 80% of the indigenous people, the native people that live there, died from the diseases. that the West brought there. You know, Native American Indians, First Nation Indians, and South American.
Yeah,
Native-
so a pandemic is smaller than a epidemic, right?
No, epidemic means it breaks out in just one local area. It doesn't spread to other countries. Pandemic means it goes global.
Yeah.
See, like I think the Black Death, I don't think that they call it a Black Plague too, right? But I don't think that went global. I think that was just a England.
Europe.
Yeah, but then again, back then there what that was in the early, what was that, early 1600s or something? I don't even. There probably wasn't even a population in the West yet. But I don't think it was a global. It was just in. I don't know. I have to check that. But epidemic means localized. Pandemic means global. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but a lot of people, because when the Westerners, the Europeans, did come to North America, they brought a lot of diseases. Like we were immune to them, but of course the people that lived there had never been exposed to them, and that killed a big percentage of the people before they even started fighting. Crazy. It's history is not pretty sometimes. That's for sure. All right, let's get to the next one. Widespread news can be widespread too. You know, something popular pops up, the news gets all around the world real quick. Widespread news. All right, this one is kind of like a vague idea.
Unquestionable.
Hypothetically.
No, hypothetically is like a theory.
Oh, wait.
Right. There's not much difference between them, but it's a conception or a belief about
Tenet.
Innovation.
Tenet.
Innovation is to recreate and better something, like Apple.
Tenet.
Tenet?
Inquisition.
No, not an inquisition. We're not trying to turn you into Catholics.
Credence.
An impulse or desire, especially one.
Concept.
Missionary.
Conception is to start visualizing an idea. What was that, Coco? Vision?
Guidelines.
Missionaries.
Missionaries? No.
Apostle.
No.
Guidelines.
Guidelines are like rules or instructions. All right, this is like, I don't think he has any of the seriousness of the situation. Like, it's another word for idea. Whatever gave you that? But there was, if I looked at that versus idea, there's not much difference, but there is a difference. Read you the difference here.
Right.
Is that this is mental apprehension?
Notion
is what we're looking for. Yeah, notion.
Yes. To die another day.
Okay.
Beware.
Is that notion is mental apprehension of whatever may be known. Thinking about something. The thought is starting to come to you. Thought or imagined idea. Idea is where you start putting a concept, right? While the idea is philosophical. Is a philosophy. And I'm not on my game these last couple of weeks. I think I'm overworked. I must be. My brain is going dumb. Idea, philosophy, an abstract archetype to a given thing. Yeah, it seems like the idea is more where you've actually formulated it in your head, but the notion is just kind of, it passed through your head. It's just like, oh, wait a minute. Maybe we should think about this. Oh, now I have an idea. But the notion kind of brings you to the formation of that idea. That's what I understand about it. You know, he doesn't have any idea. So often we would say like notion, right? I don't think he has any notion of the seriousness of the situation because he clearly doesn't see the problem. Whatever gave you that notion? What crossed your mind? How did that idea fly through you? Where did you come up with that? Right? It's not formulated properly yet. An idea is when you say, wait, I have a notion. No, I had a notion. Now I have an idea. Now we could do this. A, B, C, D, right? Belief or idea. Okay. Vague idea. Bum, 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 bum. Notion. So we got 5, 4, 2. Bam.
Ratio.
Yeah, I like this one again. There's just no other way. There's no picture that I can.
What the heck
Suffixes,
is
prefixes.
There's no picture I can get for this.
Oh gosh, give me a moment.
The
then.
chart.
State of something written or spoken in different words, especially in a shorter or simpler form, to make the meaning clear.
Caretaking
Definition.
speech. Caretaker speech.
I caretaker speech. That's to simplify. Yeah. No.
Damn.
Maybe if we were referring to kids. I say it all the time. Like sometimes I keep telling, especially Gappy and Jack, sometimes when you're answering questions in tests, you tend to say the same thing in a different way. And I tell you guys to stop doing what? Saying the same thing, but in a different way. But more detailed is actually to say the same thing in a different way, but in a clearer or more simpler way or shorter way, like a summary almost. But it is saying the same thing, right?
Being able to articulate yourself.
Wow, that's the formulate your speech and ideas to come out with something that I'm a student of for the rest of my life. You know, people who are good speakers are very good at articulating. You know, they can. Jordan Peterson is a master articulator. He just the way he puts his insights into words blows my mind. And it's just like, what did he say? Yeah, that's right. Paraphrasing. Paraphrase.
Wow.
5-5 tie.
Like parachuting.
Like parachuting.
Paraphrase.
Yeah, but I wouldn't want to try parachuting any other different way than the way they do it now. It could be dangerous. All right. 5-5-2. Bam.
Now, when you were a kid, Mr. Joe, maybe some of your relatives even fight in Vietnam.
What? My brother? What?
When you were a kid, maybe some of your relatives might fight in Vietnam. Might fought in Vietnam when you were kids.
When I was a kid, some of my friends or relatives might have what in Vietnam?
Might fought in Vietnam.
Might have fought in the war, you mean? Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I was born during the war. I was born in 1970. My father. Yeah, well, I never told you guys that story about my father in the Vietnam War.
No.
No, I don't think so.
No, yeah.
Very short story. He almost got drafted to go to the Vietnamese War. You got to remember that first of all, Canada refused to have anything to do with it. They would not back up the Americans to go work with the South and all that stuff. So the British, the French, and the Americans went to try to help the corrupt democracy in South Vietnam against the North. But it was the Americans, French, and British basically. Canada said no, we're not going to take part in this at all. But at that time, so let's say this must be the 1969. At that time, my father and my mother were newlyweds, right? They were just been married a year or two, and they wanted to move to Florida, beautiful sunshine state of the U.S., right? My dad lined up a job with an air conditioning company.
Almost Spanish colony.
Was it Spanish Florida at one point? I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. For a long time.
So at that time, it was easy for Canadians and Americans to get citizenship and go down and live there and do it. It was a lot easier back then in the 70s. It started changing in the 80s. Now it's almost impossible. So they worked everything out. They got their visas, their work permits. They were going to go work there. They were being sponsored by some relatives. They were going to become U.S. citizens and stay in Florida. West Palm Beach actually is where they're going to go, right down to the beach. And they were going to adopt the child in Florida. because my mother had had a couple of miscarriages. My adopted mother. Miscarriage means she couldn't have a baby. So it was all done. And it wasn't until my father, with their suitcases and everything and all their documents, they went to the airport to fly to their new home in Florida. At this time, I was either in the hospital or still in my mother's womb. I'm not exactly sure what the date was. But once they got to the U.S. Customs and they saw my father, 25 years old, slim, tall, 6'2", they told him right then and there, the minute you sign these papers to become an American citizen, you are eligible for the American draft, and you're most likely going to be sent to Vietnam to fight for the American government.
Oh.
So.
Oh no, thanks.
Exactly. So
Goodbye.
My dad, not a very aggressive kind of guy. He's kind of like the funny guy in the middle of the room and gets all the attention.
Very chill.
Yeah, very chill. I don't see him running through a jungle with a machine gun. No, not his style at all. So apparently, as the story goes, I keep trying to get my dad to come on one of our videos here to talk about his hunting experiences. It's really cool, but he keeps refusing. But according to the story, he took one look at my mother and they said, well, I guess we're not moving to America. And they turned around and went back home and they never went back to the States. And that's the story how I became. So my family was dictated because of the Vietnam War. Because if it wasn't for the Vietnamese War, I don't know where I would have ended up. What the hell is that?
What?
So they came back to Canada and adopted a little boy in Canada. That was me. Yeah. So it's kind of funny. So Vietnam affected my life too. One way or another. All right.
It's already affected your life now.
I guess for me, it was a good effect because I grew up in a very good family and in the countryside. So I have to say I benefited from the situation.
Yeah.
Paraphrase. Yep.
Like in the Vietnam War, it's not really Vietnam versus American. It's actually more likely a Vietnamese civil war.
Yeah.
And the Americans went to Vietnam just sitting in the tanks and the plane, just shooting things and not really fight.
No, it was a really messed up war. It was a really messed up war. And that's what it was. It was really a revolution or two parties. The the Northern government wanted to unite and the Southern government wanted to separate. They wanted to be a different country, so it's what happens,
Yeah, North Vietnam strong and North Korean is weak, very weak.
Yeah. Well, I just recently I read something, just a quick note on this, that before the Americans got there, the North Koreans, from what I heard, I don't know if this is true or not, and it's hard to know because different people write different things, which one is really historically true or which one's exaggerated. But the last bit I heard about that war was that North Korea was actually winning the war and taking over South Korea. North Korea was winning, and that's why the Americans came right away, and then they ended up pushing the North Koreas back all the way up to China. But then China got involved and then pushed the Americans all the way back down to the South Korea. Was it General Ford or something? And I remember a funny story. I think it was my father that told me that. It's probably exaggerated, but they were pushing all the North Koreans right up, and they were going to take all of Korea for South Korea and kill the Northern regime. But then as soon as they got close to the Chinese border, it was like they went over a mountain, and on the other side, all they saw was millions of soldiers coming. And it's like, okay, we're going to go back to South Korea now. Not a war they wanted to get into.
Stupid Koreans, they're not uniting each other. So
it is crazy. The world politics never makes a lot of sense, unfortunately. There's so many things behind it.
This is Virgin Northern Korea.
Yeah. Well, Ireland's like that too. They're two countries now. And again, all about religion.
Yeah. Vietnam is close to be that too.
Wasn't religion about here? It was just parties, right? Communism and democracy. Yeah. Different parties. Yeah. All right. You should have this, Coco. This is in your field.
What is
Religious?
that?
Not religious. Consciousness.
Consciousness.
Bach takes the lead. 6-5.
Nah.
The conscious mind, the ability to be aware of what is going on, to be aware that there is trouble, or to be mindfulness is a state of mind, right? But it's an awareness.
The third
To be
eye.
conscious. Yeah, your third eye. That's why I threw that guy in there, because that's kind of how they represent that extra sense that we have. And was it? Yeah, I mean, the conscious mind that we have, we're the only animal on the planet that has it. You know, this rationalization and this awareness thing. We're the only ones.
Shoot.
Not good.
Yeah, totally not good for me.
And that could be the work that was presented is just not what it should be. It could be someone's behavior. It could be police brutality, which I guess is pretty safe to say, how they use the War Act against peaceful
inappropriate.
protesters. Yeah,
Inappropriate.
inappropriate. You know, sitting there and taking phone calls in the cinema. It's just inappropriate. Inappropriate. So we got a 6-6 tie.
Yeah.
Inappropriate. Mind you, I don't know. I took this picture because it was the only one where it looked like the police were using excessive force. They don't show much violence on the Storyblock videos. But I'd really like to know what this guy is doing to the police officer's shield right here. Like, what's he doing? Like he's
I
kind of,
can't really see it properly.
yeah, it kind of cuts too fast there. Is he trying to put his finger through the hole or something? I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
Oh, well. It didn't work, whatever it was he's doing. But again, this is probably all fake and staged.
Yep. Should be.
Yeah. All right. So here's
Arguments. All I know.
consequences. We had this a while back, a few lessons ago. All right. The result or effect of an action or condition. You know, if you're going to do illegal activities, it's a big chance you're going to have big problems in the future. And if you're going to keep having outbursts like this and fighting with your partner, you know, there's a good chance you're going to end up alone. You know,
It looks sad.
you got to, yeah, I didn't know whether to do that or whether I thought maybe he lost his job. But I could have said, you know, I could have made it like that he got fired. I didn't know, but I figured domestic abuse is a good one too. Either way, there's going to be consequences for doing things like this. Just about everything, even in a positive way, right? You study hard, you work hard. The only difference is we say you get results when it's positive, and then usually it's consequences when it's negative. Yeah. Consequences. A 1-point lead again. 3 words left.
Stop now. I demand you to stop. I demand you to stop this inappropriate action.
Which action do you demand us to stop?
Continue to overwhelming me.
1 point's not overwhelming, mister.
Typical Bobby move.
Oh,
The cycle.
Oh my. Oh my god, man. What the hell is
images.
that?
Of a
Why am I
person for their
hearing-
thoughts and ideas.
Religious.
Not religious. No religious today. Over imaginative or unrealistic.
Mythology.
It's kind of like mythology.
Fanciful.
Fanciful is the correct answer, and we have another tie.
Fanciful?
What?
If you are fanciful, it means you have unrealistic dreams, an over imaginative imagination.
So what about fancy?
Fancy just means you like something.
Oh, well.
I'm fanciful instead.
Yeah, there's. I thought there might be a connection to it too when I saw the word. When I saw it, I wasn't sure. That's why I added it, because when I was looking for different words, elaborate, structured, decoration, fancy clothes, fancy drink. I fancy him. I fancy her. Good for him. Fancy him to win. I look forward for him to win or her to win. Yeah, favorable. But fanciful, no. Fanciful is fanciful. Let's get another definition here. Fanciful. I didn't know this word until yesterday either. I didn't know. I was like, what the heck is fanciful? I never heard of that before. Meaning a person. Yeah, that's the same thing I put here. Yeah, it's just of a person or their thoughts and ideas, over imaginative or unrealistic. Example, a fanciful story about a pot of gold, existing only in the imagination or fancy. A moon, the moon maiden is one of a number of a fanciful lunar inhabitants. Yeah, just something that's totally unrealistic is fanciful. Mm-hmm. Careful. Involving or having the support of both sides, especially in a political party. This is the kind of government that many people want in the Western worlds.
Usage.
But it means they kind of work together instead of trying to destroy each other, which is very destructive.
Partisanship. Be partisanship.
This is just for this, buddy. You're going to have to say it correctly.
Bipartisanship.
Oh,
Bipartisan.
Partisan.
Bipartisanship, I think, is when you enter into something like that. Let's see here. Bipartisan is how we say it. One word left, and Gappy has taken the lead.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna let Gappy
It's a tie, or it's rather me win or me tie.
Bipartisanship. Here we go.
So
What's the difference? Bipartisanship. Agreement or cooperation between two political parties that usually oppose each other's. Okay, so they kind of enter into a noun, a bipartisanship means they have made an agreement. Bipartisan itself, well, again, right here, involving the support of both sides, especially political parties. A bipartisan government, a bipartisan agreement. All right, here we go.
Oh, that's
wait.
Trevor.
Sentient.
You got it. Sentient.
Yeah.
Sentient. A sentient being is someone who has a conscious mind. Robots cannot be sentient, right? They don't have any feelings. They can't love. They can't perceive. They can't feel. So any animal that can feel fear, happiness, sadness is a sentient being. Is sentient.
You're
A being, yeah, sentient being.
Yeah. You're
Well, this-
cyber from the
Well, this
Is
was
he your brother?
one of yes, my clone brother.
Oh,
The cyborg. They threw it in here because this was an old picture from when we did robots a while back, and we were trying to come up with a thumbnail. So we were playing with Photoshop and lights and different things, and one of the ideas was maybe we could turn me into a cyborg for the thumbnail. But we never used it, so they used it in the slides. So definitely not a sentient. Well, no, see, there's the question, right? A cyborg. Okay, a robot is a machine. An android is a machine, but it's a robot that looks like a human. A cyborg is half human, half machine. So theoretically, depending on the brain, then that cyborg could be a sentient being. But if it's like Terminator, then actually they call him a cyborg, but he wouldn't be a cyborg. He'd actually be an android, I guess, because he's a totally 100% a robot. Yeah, that's crazy. Never thought of that. Good job, Gappy. You got the first win.
I will let Gappy win a few weeks and I will take it back.
It's far from over. This is week 1. What the heck is that? Chocolate?
That's my ice cream. Ice cream rolls.
Ice cream
Just ice
rolls.
cream roll. Yes.
Wait, you should have shown that.
More like Rickroll.
It's just ice cream rolls. And also this pasta with milk.
What? You?
Pasta with milk.
Pasta with milk. Yes.
Warm milk or cold milk?
Warm milk. Cold milk. Yeah. It's just pasta with milk. I mixed it with
Raw pasta or just a cooked pasta?
No, you'd have to cook it.
raw pasta.
Crunchy. Raw pasta in cold milk. And you eat that.
Yes. Yes, it's edible. If it smells, it's edible. That's it.
Diarrhea.
I know I know a few things that smell, but they're not edible to me. Oh, you guys surprise me sometimes.
It's
All right.
different.
Yep.
Break time.
It's break time. I don't have anything to break.
You could break the other leg.
Yeah. Shoot me. Yep,
Just
I
go
will
try.
break the other leg.
Go try kicking that lantern again. See who wins.
No, not the lanterns. That it's the industrial fan. Very good.
Oh, that's right. It was a fan you were trying to kick. Yeah, that's right.
Industrial fan, not as fun.
All right. Well, we'll take a break and then we'll come back and do some reading and do some more chatting.
Should be.